everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that debuts a new segment on the show, and then one of the hosts of the show tweets about it, and it gets covered by the person we're describing it about. I'm your host, Ryan Knightstein. With me, as always, is the culprit, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Jake Lee is no longer GHC heavyweight champion.
It's a new day has dawned over.
Ronda Rousey's an independent wrestler. World's weird, man. But I'm doing great. And Jeff Jarrett's wrestling more matches than everybody in AEW, as we said.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to, obviously, but I love the fact that, like I said, we had a new gimmick last week, right? We talked about how, let's do the, hot topic conversation, right? Let's do some hot topics. What's the internet talking about? Thank you. I think I have to record that. I don't think I can maybe there's an AI way to do that. I'm going to look into that. But this idea of like, oh yeah, what's up with AEW? And we've slowly went into this train about how Jeff Jarrett has more wins than so many other people. You tweeted about it, and it gets covered by Jeff Jarrett himself and Conrad Thompson on whatever the hell Jeff Jarrett's podcast is called. I cannot fathom what it's called. Actually.
My world.
My apologies. You're right. It is my world.
Come on.
And then I'm reading the Observer today, and Dave Meltzer tweets about it. Now, granted, there's not much analysis to Dave Meltzer, but he pretty much tweets, and I quote, Scott E. Wrestling noted in a tweet that Jeff Jarrett has more AEW matches this year than Kenny Omega, Danielson, Takeshita, White, Page, MJF, Cage, Kingston, Jericho, Shida, Baker, Riho, Jackson, and Nick Jackson. 7 of Jarrett's 25 matches have been title matches, which, by the way, that is pretty much, cut and paste exactly what you wrote, other than the actual numbers.
That's it. That's it. Some people would think otherwise, but that's it.
Dave then wanted to say that the most notable thing is that we're 11 months into the year, and the number of matches all these specific people have had, which is obviously less than Jeff Jarrett, who's had 25. The highest one there that he recognizes is, I believe, 24 with the Young Bucks, which can easily be passed. But we have 2 months left. And then he said that White did come a few months in the year. Danielson had some time off, but still, you're right. So you tweet this out. It blows up for some reason. And now you people are in your mentions. People are, I assume, DMing you about how dumb of an opinion, hot take you have, which of course is part of the hot topic segment.
Some of the quote tweets are so funny.
Yeah. So you basically tweeted a fact and people dunked on you for hours. Care to describe that feeling?
Acknowledge me.
I just thought it was funny. Like, I was like, I reread my tweet because of the way people were reacting. I was like, am I missing something? Did I put an opinion here and I missed it? And the answer was no. The answer was I didn't put an opinion in there. And there were specific. I will say this. I put Riho in there specifically just to anger at least one person, and it worked.
I knew when I saw Riho in there, I was like, he's doing a bit. I know for a fact that's a bit.
Yeah. Someone's like, Riho barely wrestles. Why did you even put her in there? I was like, that's kind of the point, but thank you for explaining to me what the point was. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because I thought we talked about it, obviously, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to tweet this out because I think it's mind-boggling that this actually happened. And people decided to run with it, including JEFF. JARRET. Actually, he didn't run with it. I think his co-host did, and he just laughed at it because he was like, "That's great." I think he was like, "That's crazy." I wasn't even supposed to wrestle, which was very funny.
Yeah, there wasn't really much like analysis really to what even they're saying. It was just sort of like, "Huh, all right."
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I just thought, you know what? This is a fun fact that we decided to put together while recording this show. I'll tweet it out. And I didn't really expect it to do anything.
No.
I just was like, I want everyone to know this because I feel There's an article a week at this point about like why people don't like AEW and stuff. There's the tweet. Look at that. Holy views. My God. That's,
682,000.
I think the picture was perfect.
Let me take up the picture's perfect.
The picture's the best part. Like I just tweeted it, and I just think it's funny like how angry people got at me for tweeting a fact.
Yeah. This is the tweet in question. If you're watching the video, it is like we said. You just stated the fact. 7 of his 25 have been title matches. You got.
There were some great people. They were like, all of his matches should have been title matches. I was like, that's good.
I saw those. Yeah. The top comment here on X, which of course was a verified comment, should have been 25 of 25 if we're being honest. Earning a bag as usual. Thanks, JJ. Great counterpoint. How many times did he win? Probably
0. It's clearly 0 because he's not a champion.
Well,
but he did win some.
He is the
matches.
Texas Deathmatch, whatever, Texas Chainsaw Massacre champion.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, this it struck a nerve. It, for some reason, struck the biggest of nerves for whatever Twitter people are left.
Shout out Double J. That's all.
Shout out Double J for pushing it along too. It struck a nerve for people online. Double J didn't seem to care, and Dave was like, that's.
You hit him with the butt still, as in, why did this happen?
Yeah,
which is fair.
So I think that's a successful topic that we discussed on Hot Topic.
So I guess Hot Topics is one to stay.
It was a steaming pile of topics, is what that was, which is our alt name, which didn't make the cut. The alt name, steaming pile of topics. Well, we have another steaming pile of topics for you here today on Ring Post Radio. Of course, we are going to be talking about New Japan Power Struggle. We're going to be talking about WWE Crown Jewel. I don't want to talk about them too much because it's Saudi Arabia, and I don't want to give them too much promotion. That's why I'm not even using that name as for promotion on this podcast. Maybe I should.
Yeah, I guess it. Instead, you use Noah. Great.
Yeah, instead of using
that's Noah, that's how you put the butts in seats, baby.
I know what our viewers really want. I know what those people want.
They want the Noah takes.
And they're getting them because we're also going to discuss Noah Demolition Stage, or at least maybe like 4 matches.
I watched the last 4 matches.
You watched more than 4 matches? I
watched the last 4 matches.
The same. That's what we're going to talk about.
That is it. Woo! Also, if you haven't realized, if you're listening to this, we recorded early. I'm sure. I don't think you or me tweeted that out that we were going to, go live a day before. So, shout out to us for being prepared, right? Being good at sharing our podcast and telling people, hey, you should listen to us. But it's okay because as I learned, we're just gonna go. And if you listen to this, thank you. If you don't listen to this, you never heard me say that. So don't matter.
Yeah, we wanted to go right up against Collision, right up against the NWA pay-per-view.
Fighting Spirit Unleashed. We wanted to go up against everything.
And I think we'll beat them. I think we'll beat at least one of those. I think it's fair we'll beat at least one of them. I'm not gonna say which one. I'll let you.
NWA. There you go.
But we're a little early. It was a good test as well to see how much I didn't even do the YouTube thing that early. I did it this morning when we locked in the time. So it's it's a good test to see if the audience on YouTube can show out a little bit early, a little out of tune. But of course, we'll have the audio stuff up. If you missed the full episode, we always have the audio stuff up.
Let me ask you, how are you? How was your week?
That's a great question. My week was fine. We're rounding the corner on wedding planning. I just have scheduling and stuff to figure out left. I've been playing and live streaming. Fun fact, I didn't advertise this anywhere. Live streaming Spider-Man 2 on Twitch.
Kids live streaming Spider-Man without telling anyone. Very funny.
I just wanted to see what would happen. because I'm not trying to make it anything big out of that, right? I just want to play video games when I have the time. So I've been live streaming that. I've been very ecstatic because I don't know if you saw sort of the SAG studio updates, but the streets are talking, Scotty. The streets are very much talking, and they are talking. This thing might end very soon.
Just in time for Cena to hit Saudi Arabia first, baby.
He's gonna get that big fat paycheck, get a win on the way out the door. Big fat paycheck for John Cena. It might end. Well, actually, that's actually a great question. There's a chance, Scotty, that there's a reality where John Cena is probably already shooting something when the SAG strike struck. And if it ends this weekend, there is a reality where he has to go to work on Monday.
Oh boy. This should be fun.
So there's a reality where John Cena and the Solo Sikoa match doesn't happen. And it's plausible. I think it is very much plausible.
I'm guessing he does it, but at the same time, it'd be very funny if he didn't. And also better for my eyes because I don't want to watch it.
Yeah. It's great news for me. I can go back to work soon. It's but yeah. It's very much plausible. When I say very much plausible, Scotty, I want to stress one thing. There is
a few weeks ago.
Yes, but that was okay, this is looking possible. And then they kind of fell out, and then they're back at the negotiating tables. Their apparent studios have apparently been hiring, as of yesterday or 2 days ago, department heads for productions, which is not something you do unless you're about to start filming, which They haven't been hiring people for months, right? And they're not only hiring department heads, they are initiating travel plans for these department heads to fly over to, Atlanta, LA, New York, wherever they're filming, right? So movement, hiring stuff is happening. It is very much likely, and people in the streets are talking that this might end over the weekend. So
we're hoping.
I'm feeling
that'd be a great wedding present.
If a job,
a job, money,
a job would be a freaking great wedding present. There is no doubt about that. Yes, but let's get.
I claim that one, by the way. I claim that being the one that gave that gift back. You're welcome.
Yes, a job.
Yep, I gave you the job.
You were the guys at the You were the negotiating table, being like,
"Hey, you don't know me. You don't know my story. You don't know what I'm doing."
He little known fact about Scotty. He runs Peacock. That's his game.
Yeah, sure do.
Peacock.
I run the cock. That's what they say. I run the cock. All right, let's continue.
What?
That one didn't really work. I feel like it cut out a little bit too much. All right, let's get to the show. Ring Post Radio. We got a decent amount of stuff to talk about here today. Like I said already at the top. So we'll start off with the news bits.
What?
God, I'm going to hate it already. Let's start off with contract conversations.
What?
I already hate it. 3 little contract news that kind of popped up a little bit is Alex Hammerstone asked for his MLW release. I'll go through all 3 and we can talk about all 3. Alex Hammerstone asked for his MLW release. Whether or not he gets it, they typically have been accepting the releases. So I imagine he'll be released. Ronda Rousey is officially gone from WWE. She worked a Lucha Vavoom match with Marina Shafir against Ty Valkyrie and Brian Kendrick, and she is scheduled for Wrestling Revolver. We don't know if that's in a wrestling capacity or what, but she is scheduled for that indie. And Leon Slater, Rev Pro's sort of standout up-and-coming talent, Leon Slater, officially signs with Impact New TNA. So that's our contract news so far. What do you think about those 3 movements, Scotty?
Did you know Alex Hammerstone hasn't wrestled in MLW since July?
I can see why he asked for his release.
I'm gonna guess that once he lost, I think it's funny that once he lost the world title, get me out of here.
To be fair to Alex Hammerstone, that was probably the last taping for MLW.
No, they have one since then.
Okay, interesting. Maybe he's injured. I don't know. But go ahead.
He's wrestled since then, so no, he is not injured. You're welcome.
Even more interesting.
Yeah. I don't really have any opinions on Alex Hammerstone. Like, there was a time where I think people were interested in him. That was probably around the time that he was getting heated up in MLW to take the title from Jacob Fatu. I don't think this guy has any leverage to go anywhere. I don't think anyone's going to be jumping at the bit to get him. It almost feels like he just needs a new coat of paint more than anything else. Whether that be a TNA, an NWA, maybe he goes back to Japan. It's going to have to be something, right? Because I just don't see like a top company picking him up right now. I don't see, unless we run back the Dynasty in AEW.
Oh, interesting.
Richard Holiday, also a free agent.
Wasn't there 4 members of
Gino
the
Medina.
Dynasty?
I have no idea what Gino Medina is doing.
He's not an MLW, I'll tell you that much.
He's definitely a free agent. He is a free agent.
Hold on. So you're telling me that all three of MGF's MLW former faction members, the Dynasty, are all available at the moment. And you're also telling me separately in a different conversation through our mind palaces that MJF needs 3 people to tag with him on Dynamite?
Oh shit. Oh no.
What have you done? What have you done, Scotty?
Did you know MJF was still wrestling in MLW in 2020?
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, loser leaves MLW match with Mance Warner.
That was probably 2020. Interesting.
Yeah, he was, but by the time he was with AEW, remember they pretty much signed him away.
Oh, January 11th.
So yeah, like with that Hammerstone, I think most likely it's an NWA spot or a TNA spot.
TNA is interesting. I don't know if that would work.
Well, you know, if there's anyone that can take someone that has had hype before and build them back up, it's TNA.
It's probably true.
But the Dynasty idea isn't crazy.
We've seen stranger things happen. Maybe. Maybe we say rolling our eyes slightly. You never know. You never know if wrestling can happen. TNA's looking for people. You know who else is looking for people, Scotty? NWA.
That's what I said. So yes.
They got a CW contract around the corner. They need
That's
some
true.
some
Nothing
movers
says
and
TV
shakers in the wrestling biz.
like MLW's former vice main eventer.
Yeah, I don't see why not. There's no
Ronda Rousey. Let's talk about someone that actually gives me a little more interest because I did not expect to talk about this. Ronda Rousey announced for Revolver. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That Revolver show, by the way, I'm not talking about her, but that Revolver show, by the way, low key stacked early on.
Yeah, they announced Swerve as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Swerve, Speedball.
Nice. He's typically good in there. That makes sense.
Also Paul Walterhauser.
Oh, what?
He's on the show.
I'm sorry. Run that by me again. What was that?
Paul Walterhauser of Stingray from Netflix hit show Cobra Kai. The guy that pops up on AEW once a year.
The guy that's in probably the lead for Quentin Tarantino's final movie.
Yep. That guy. He's going to Revolver. But in terms of Ronda Rousey,
back to being serious for a moment.
this is shocking.
Yeah.
Like I was like the appearance in Lucha Voom or whatever the hell it's called. That wasn't like a big deal to me. Because I was like, okay, you know, she was there, probably seen Marina, and they came up with this little idea, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But being announced for another match,
yeah,
like she just wanted out of WWE, and
that's what's interesting.
And I guess it makes
really
sense. They released 2 of her friends.
Mm-hmm.
And she really couldn't do much more there.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I talked to a few people. Toss some ideas together. So in that same observer that I was mentioned, the continuation of this major announcement for Stardom continues to be talked about. And they are making a major announcement at Gold Rush, per Dave Meltzer, which, has been a major announcement in the works for a couple weeks now. We've just been tossing around the idea. Once we got past the last pay-per-view, once we got past the joint presentation, it was like, all right, so they're probably saving it for Gold Rush, probably something for Queendom. And Shuri's asking for the best in the world and doing UWF style matches. So I'm just saying.
Kyrie did leave.
Would Bushiroad go out of their way to book a former UFC fighter versus former UFC fighter at their year-end big event for Stardom? I don't think it's insane.
Especially with Kyrie gone, Mercedes.
Kyrie wasn't really that. I'm gonna say it now. Kyrie didn't really affect ticket sales at all.
No, but she certainly cost a lot of money. Probably
she did cost money. That is for sure.
I assume Ronda's going to cost a pretty penny.
Is she? She's running an indie. I don't think she gives a shit, man.
That's fair point. You got me there.
I'm sure she asked for some money, but there's a reality now in this world, in this universe, that Mercedes Moné is a bigger money ticket than Ronda Rousey. If you said that to someone 5 years ago, they would have called you nuts. By the way, that's even in films and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying Mercedes is getting all these roles, but you know what? She's in Mandalorian. Ronda Rousey's in nothing, so screw you. I think it's interesting at the very least.
It's plausible. And
it's not crazy. That's the problem.
here's a better point. Let's backtrack it. When did Shuri doing the UWF stuff start?
At the last pay-per-view, Nagoya Golden Fight,
which was mid-October or something.
Yep, Ronda was already gone.
So Stardom calls, Ronda calls, get the hookup through Mercedes or something, or Rocky probably somehow.
They see an idea. They say, can we put Shuri against someone? It's Sumo Hall. It's not a crazy idea. Do I think it actually happens? I don't know. But would that be a major announcement? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be huge. That would be huge.
Yeah.
I just mind blown type stuff. And I'll say this. If there's anyone to get a good match out of Ronda Rousey in the year 2023, I would put all my money in on Shuri being the one.
That is plausible at the very least. Do you think there's any plausibility that she goes to AEW?
Well, we just got Ric Flair in, so yeah, there's definitely some chance. Well, speaking of which, I'm just gonna go off track now. I don't really care. Bringing Ric Flair is ass, man. It's absolute crap. You can't be tweeting about Vince McMahon being this scumbag of a human being and then proceed to bring Ric Flair in 3 weeks later.
Great point.
I understand, Sting, they have a great relationship. I don't care enough.
And, by the way, it also said in the Observer, not for a one-time appearance. Apparently he's here till March.
Well, what is Ric Flair doing? Is he just going to stand there? I understand that's it, but I have to listen to him. He's taking up time that they don't already have time for. Mm-hmm. They don't have time for anything. They're bringing Keiji Muto instead.
That'd be interesting.
They probably will. Actually, no, he's a WWE Hall of Famer now. They're not bringing him in.
He's signed to something probably.
Yeah. But it's just when I saw him on my screen, I was like, the only good part about Ric Flair being on TV this week,
what's that?
Was Christian Cage absolutely destroying that man. Christian Cage is the man. Ric Flair sucks.
Remember when Ric Flair was going to be brought into the company? I want to say,
manager? Yes.
Yeah, be Andrade's manager. I want to say in 2021, 2022 or something like that. But
2022, and then that doc came out.
yeah, he was about to come into the company, and then the Vice plane ride from hell came out. The Vice documentary came out, and it utterly destroyed any chances of that happening. Well, it took about a year or so to get over that. Apparently,
about a year and a half. About a year and a half.
You're right. A year and a half. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's such a waste. It's such a waste. Save that money. It's like I am someone that can most of the time separate the performer from the person, right?
The artist from the artiste.
But my biggest gripe here is the way Vince McMahon sucks. I 100% agree. But doing that, tweeting that, go out of your way to put this publicly on a public forum and then be like, I'm just going to bring Ric Flair right after. It's like, why? What are you doing?
You also talked about separating the artist from the art. Ric Flair is also not going to be a performer, right?
No! It's only going to bring him to wrestle. Oh, God, I hope not. If they're bringing him to wrestle, I'm going to... There's bigger problems. We all know what Sting's retirement match is. It's going to be Darby.
Gotta be. If it's not Darby, I'm fully out of AEW. That's where I'm at.
Producer that we don't have. Clip that.
Clip that. Clip
that. We're going to play it every single day until Revolution 2024.
We're going to play it at our Revolution preview. Remember when Ryan said this October 28th? Count the dates. No, it's just it doesn't make any other sense if it's not Darby. Who else could it be? Christian?
No.
Edge?
God, no.
Ric Flair? The point of retiring and going on top, and by the way, probably eating his first loss in the company, is to put over a new guy. Put over officially Darby. You beat Sting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any other sense otherwise.
Ric Flair, but I'm going to say it. I don't like Ric Flair on my TV. I don't like Ric Flair being in WWE. Listen, here's also a fact. I separate the performer from the artist from the artiste or whatever you had said. I just don't like seeing him on my TV as is, and I haven't liked seeing him on my TV for years.
He hasn't been a thing for 20 years.
Well,
you really want to dig into it.
It's another conversation. But yeah, I understand it's a nice thing for Sting, and maybe he wanted it, but man, what happened? What happened to AEW, huh? I haven't even been the person, I know Voices of Wrestling, for example, they released an article a week about it.
Not just them writing it. It's we got a whole slew of writers putting
a lot of writers angry. I write for Voices of Wrestling, but I don't care enough to I'm someone that's not as dejected, but I also maybe don't have as much investment as some people, even though I talk about it every week and watch every single episode.
I'm the perfect person to talk to. I'm the freakazoid.
It would be you. But it's just this is the type of stuff that bothers me more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's the old WWE guys. We're adding up now. They've brought in Edge and Ric Flair. Those have been the big people they've brought in over the past month.
Mm-hmm.
In the year 2023.
How do you feel about the Kenny Omega MJF match that's happening an hour and 15 minutes? Or maybe
topic.
It could be a
hot topic. It should be this
is the mini. This is the mini hot top.
I have multiple thoughts about it. One, I feel like it's a match that should be happening. Maybe that's a hot take because of the stakes and the history. They did WWE did the same thing with the Usos and the New Day, right? But those were tag titles. They weren't a world title. I just feel like New
Japan did the same thing with Okada Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm. I wish they remembered earlier.
Yes, I think that's the biggest. That is the biggest frustration to me. I'm okay with them
start this 2 weeks earlier. It's fine by me.
I think this is the. I don't care if they do it on television.
No,
I think especially
they have to.
Especially right now, they got to pop some numbers. They got
and the point of it is at the buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part that I don't understand. Like I understand big first ever MJF versus Kenny match. I get that.
Yeah.
But the point of the match even happening is to end it right before the reign ends. They don't have a pay-per-view right before the reign ends.
Yeah.
They have Collision.
And you know what also been interesting? Kenny Omega, let's say they remember this months ago. Remember, I believe, speaking of Voice of Wrestling, talking about it, Rich Krace talked about how the moment where the clock turned was All Out, where now it's just Omega's reign. And if they could have started talking about it then, you could have had it lingering in the background long term. And then he really heated up within the last month or so, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, he could still be on a losing streak, right?
Yeah.
And his whole promo was like, I've been on a losing streak, right? Which is basically, his promo was all right. But his promo could have been, I've been on this losing streak. I should still get this title match because I deserve a right. Even if I haven't won in a while, I deserve a right to defend my streak.
Yeah.
And then it makes it almost like weirdly more believable for MJF to beat Omega, which then comes to the other thing of, I don't necessarily believe that there's going to be a full ass finish. I don't think MJF is beating Omega clean here. So, but in this reality, MJF could realistically beat Omega clean because he's on a losing streak.
I also think there is a slight problem I have, and this is an AEW long-term thing, is that it does feel rushed because they put together this phenomenal video package for this match.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And I have no problem with it airing on Rampage, but you should have done it last week's Rampage. So then you can replay it on Dynamite for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's my thing. Because I saw some people like, oh, well, Rampage can't get anything. No, Rampage should get something. It should just happen sooner than the day before the match.
Agreed.
Right? I can't wait for the match, though, truthfully. The big Kenny Omega title match. Are you kidding me? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Like, this is where the match had to happen for it to make sense. Unless you had a pay-per-view this weekend, it had to happen. Now, sure, you could have did it Dynamite with a week to go. Collision needs a big draw. Right? Dynamite needs a draw too, but Dynamite can live. You go with Collision, you stack it up. I'm okay with it. Overall, I just wish they started earlier.
What makes me more frustrated is that it is more indicative, and I've seen this talking point, and I'll echo it. It is more indicative of the I don't know when it changed, this newfound failure in AEW's long-term booking skill. These first couple years of this promotion were nailing it in the long-term booking thing, and you totally see that they could have started talking about this months ago. And this could have been set up for months ago. And instead, it feels like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks maybe, before they actually do the match. They're like, we remembered. Oh, crap. It felt like MJF on BT remembered it before Tony Khan and his army of producers remembered it.
It clearly, I was going to say, it clearly wasn't remembered. And I also think this was never going to be part of the plan, right? The Adam Cole stuff changed everything.
Which is fair.
It is, but it should have always been part of the plan. If MJF was breaking Kenny Omega's record, it should have always been part of the plan.
Even if Adam Cole was involved, it should still be part of the plan, because then you can do an Adam Cole Kenny Omega crossover.
Exactly.
Remember where we left that when Kenny Omega left because he was injured?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, we're getting a shit finish. The match is going to be fresh when you run it back next time, on a pay-per-view, presumably. But my feeling is this: you should have done it. You should have started sooner, but you should be doing it here. I think it makes sense. And I'm very excited for it, truthfully. I'm very excited for that match.
Are you and I on the hot shot change the title train?
I've been on the hot shot change the title train since Jay White came into the picture. And that wasn't even like a hot shot situation, but it's like, I think AEW would do so well with just something that isn't planned. Does that make sense? Like something that isn't expected. And hot shotting belts doesn't happen all that much in wrestling anymore. It would be very fresh, very unique. MJF can battle back to get it. If you want to do it, Kenny, great, because Kenny versus Jay White writes itself. You don't even need a long time to build that up. If you don't do it, then ultimately Kenny's just back to the Takeshita stuff, and the Takeshita stuff, like I said last week, for me is starting to run its course because we hadn't been using Takeshita at all. Now Takeshita just had a match with Kyle Fletcher, and I'm actually intrigued in that story. But the Don Callis story has quickly become Don Callis' family versus Will Ospreay in my mind, and not Kenny Omega, and I find that very interesting. And Chris Jericho.
Will Ospreay or Chris Jericho? It's become more Chris Jericho to me.
Well, with the Kyle Fletcher stuff, they're clearly getting that ready. So it's like Jericho into Ospreay.
In case Ospreay comes into the company. Yeah.
When? I'm going to say it. When he comes into the company.
Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
Endeavor's going out of business or whatever, so it's fine.
Well, I guess before we get to that news,
we're going to talk about Leon, right?
Yeah, let's talk about Leon Slater. Leon Slater signed a contract live on Scott D'Amore's back, which is
Mike Bailey way.
His favorite way to sign people, apparently. Not just the Mike Bailey way, the Josh Alexander way as well.
That's funny. That's just funny.
Yeah, that's his favorite way to sign people. Leon Slater, Rev Pro standout. I think I tweeted this out earlier today.
He's coming from a Rev Pro maniac, folks.
I'm a Rev Pro. I'm a Rev head. We call ourselves the Redhead. Rev's head.
He's I think we've both started to invest in indie this year. He's picked Rev Pro. I didn't.
What have you picked?
I probably picked Deadlock. I watch every one of their shows.
I really? I did not know that.
Well, I watch them time because they're taped, so it's fair. I don't really talk about it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think they have a good product, though. Their champion is about to sign with the company, so sign with WWE, so that's tough. But
was it
Jay Malachi?
Yeah.
Who I really liked. Lucky Ali too, which was their champion previously. He was really good too. Looks like they're putting it on Alex Price though, so
I'll take it. That's a good pickup. Leon Slater, I think as a fellow Rev head, I think that Leon Slater has been a huge standout in Rev Pro. I think he is, he's been blasting on the scene in the US indie scene as well. It was just a matter of time for getting. What's that?
Gene blasting?
Maybe. How do we get a gene blasting sound thing? He is a fantastic stand-up wrestler. He has all the tools of the trade right now to be a good high flyer kind of guy. He's a fantastic pickup for especially for this new branding of TNA. Everyone's sort of talking about it as here we go, X Division coming back strong. That idea of high flyers going all over the place. That is what you're going to get out of Leon Slater. To me, it showcases more how the Rev Pro have been setting up the next generation of talent for a very long time now. You could obviously say Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. and all those guys have been set up by them long ago. You could also argue Aussie Open, right? Coming in the Rev Pro and Kyle Fletcher working during working the pandemic, bulking a crap ton up. Ospreay really helping him out as well. Aussie Open getting ushered up. Leon Slater now signing with Impact TNA. Rev Pro is really utilizing and showcasing the next generation of wrestling talent. And in TNA have seen that in Leon Slater, and they picked him up. That's huge. I think you also talked about in our Slack that not only is that, but it makes it even easier for him to bounce over to Japan to work like a Best of Super Juniors or maybe next year's Super Junior Tag League or something. Him versus anyone in Japan would be a very interesting bout for me to see. Even him being an Impact. I mean, let's look at the roster right now. I think him like Mike Bailey would look very good. That would be very good for him as well to sort of get that thing. Chris Sabin, he'll learn a lot. Working ABC, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, he'll learn a lot. I'm sure he'll learn something from Tommy Dreamer. But he'll learn a decent amount and get over very quickly as part of this sort of maybe new X Division branding for TNA. I'm very excited. I think this is a fantastic pickup. It's a win-win all around. So good on, dude. Leon Rush versus Leon Slater. That would kill too. He'll get a lot out of it, and it's a good spot for him to start and not get, more importantly, not get lost in the shuffle. If he signed to WWE, he signed to AEW, he will undoubtedly get lost in the shuffle, and he's still very much starting out. So going to Impact is a good step up instead of a jump up for his career.
This is the perfect way to start off TNA with a first signing. You're signing the next generation. I think what Impact has or should be doing is getting ahead on these companies and signing these young guys. And Leon Slater is the perfect one to do so, right? He is someone that has created waves more than I think he is a better prospect in his current form than a Nick Wayne, for example. I will say that right now.
Fair. That might be
I'd
fair.
rather watch Leon Slater wrestle. And I don't mean to compare guys, but like I think this is the perfect spot for him. He can dive into the X division, really learn from some of the best. I think TNA is setting themselves up really well. TNA did the same thing with Speedball, right? Right before he was about to come back to the States, they signed him.
Yep.
They got ahead of everyone else and made these moves. And I think with Leon Slater, that's what you should be doing. And now he's like almost a virtual lock for Best of Super Juniors, if not this year, the next year, or this upcoming year, then the year after, I should say. Like, that's what I look at it as. This is a chance for him to go into New Japan, still work some Rev Pro as well. You know, he won't be there as much, which is obviously a hit to Rev Pro, but Rev Pro
has a crap ton of people come up.
He can easily be on their bigger shows, which is really where you want him anyways. Because no offense, I'm not watching live in Sheffield. Right? It's like that's the kind of the way I look at it. Like he'll be on Risky Business, he'll be on whatever the hell the year-end one is called that I can't think of. The anniversary show, he can be on those, and that's really all you need him for. And he now can have a chance to learn TV and eventually be signed by an AEW or WWE in 5 years or so.
He's 19. And I think comparing him to like Nick Wayne is a good example. These are like the young up and coming guys. Like Nick Wayne, I think is undoubtedly going to be a guy. Leon Slater, these high flyers that are coming out of Rev Pro have such like an Osprey-esque like imprint on them. Yeah. That it's a little scary, and it's just
which can be a bad thing.
Sure.
I need to say this, and I think some people have. Osprey and Ricochet made a lot of bad indie wrestlers. Because a lot of indie wrestlers thought they could be Ricochet and Will Ospreay. They cannot be. However, Leon Slater's the type of guy that can be that athletic and that special and make it his own. We've already seen it with his finisher. That's his own, right?
Yep.
And I think that's kind of the way I look at it.
He's not copying the two of them.
No,
and he's also very. And you brought that up. He's a good amalgamation of the two as well.
Yeah, for sure. He's a very talented guy. Like when I saw this, I was like, yes, that's good. That's good. That is a good signing for TNA. That is the first signing of TNA. That is beautiful.
Yep.
Right? Of new TNA. That's awesome. And I'm very happy to see where they go from here. I hope they keep scouting these younger guys from around the world. There's a number of guys on the independent scene in the US. Okay, let me rephrase. There's a few guys on the US indie scene that would be good. And I think they've done that really well with like the women's side, right? They signed Masha Slamovich. No one else did. AEW could have. I still am mad at Tony Khan for not doing that. Actually, no, I'm not, because she's done better in Impact than she probably would have done, truthfully. But like they have an eye for talent. They should just get a few more, like go get a few more. There's talent out there. They didn't sign Roxanne Perez. That was Ring of Honor, but they brought her in right when they shut down. It's like they know.
AEW did it.
Like, listen, you're going to get outpaid eventually.
Yep.
Who cares? Go back to being the guys that had the young guys first, not the old guys after.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You want the Leon Slaters, not the Heats. No offense to Heath, who just left.
Who just left as a free agent. Well, even though they also re-signed PCO, which I think PCO technically was the first.
Which is weird because wasn't PCO leaving?
He was.
Like, wasn't that an openly thing? And then they're like, nah, never mind.
I think he was the one that said that they were leaving. But yeah, like TNA, like that is a lot of what TNA early on was built on. It's like, yes, TNA has always been built on old wrestler dudes that are like kind of past their prime, or they're like post WCW, former WWE, WF guys. But they've also had a good crop of young, hungry, upstart talent that are ready to go and ready to pull all out. Leon Slater is going to get you that. How many more of those people can you pick up? That's an interesting spot. Nick Wayne's already picked up in AEW.
I just said Alec Price. I
was going to say Jay Malachi and Lucky Ali just got picked up to WWE. Alec Price is a great pickup. I would argue. I think he's a guy to be on the come up, and I think he's like 18, 19, something like that too.
I circle Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Master Slamovich as perfect examples of people they should be going for.
Alec Price is 24. Oh my god.
They made those three, or to me, those three are three of their best already. And you look at Bay, you look at Austin, you call them Impact guys.
Yeah.
Now they should be doing more than just tag team wrestling, but that's besides the point.
But they're killing it at what they're doing.
Oh, they're very good. Like if they were in a AEW or a WWE or New Japan full time, they would be considered one of the best tag teams in the world by a lot more people.
Yeah. But I think we talked about it when we talked about Bound for Glory last week. I said that they are probably the biggest, like the best and biggest underrated tag team. Like I called them, I was like, they're like the next generation of Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah. It's just like they're great. It's just kind of like only hardcore people know about them, which not a bad spot to be in.
I've long been an Ace Austin fan, and I've long been a Chris Bay fan. So it helps that they're together. Hopefully, Leon Slater's next to get to that role, and so on and so forth. And the funny thing about Austin and Bay, they're still both very young.
Yeah, I said Alec Price. Let's see.
Ace Austin is 26.
That's 2 years older than Alec Price. Put that in perspective.
Chris Bay is 27.
I was going to say, Chris Bay is probably the oldest.
They're all so young.
Yeah, that's a lot of young talent. And granted, for Chris Bay and Ace Austin, they've been in Impact for quite a while. But they're wrestling people roughly their age here now. If they bring in all these other guys, Alec Price could be a nice pickup for them. He'll serve something different. He's not a huge high flyer, but he can do something. He's got that sort of swerve. I think he's got a swerve quality to him. That's me throwing a dart mile down the road. I think he has a swerve-esque, and maybe it's the kick. Maybe, to be fair, maybe it's the kick. But it's a very good kick, and it got swerve far. And he's got some confidence. He's got some little weird Alec Price Bostonian swagger. He's
long had a confidence. He quieted down a little bit there, but I'm hoping for him.
I agree. Well, speaking about things I'm hoping for, I don't know. Endeavor. I didn't really know exactly how to transition there. Endeavor, the parent company, of course, of TK Group Holdings, which is the amalgamation of UFC and WWE, are exploring, quote, strategic alternatives. What does this mean? Well, no one really knows yet. Dave sort of speculates. Dave of the Wrestling Observer, of course, certainly speculates that maybe this includes selling the company. This is all quoted from Ari Emanuel saying, the CEO of Endeavor, quote, given the continued dislocation between Endeavor's public market value and the intrinsic value of Endeavor's underlying assets, essentially saying that the market underprices the asset value that we think we have. We believe an evaluation of strategic alternatives is a prudent approach to ensure we are maximizing value for our shareholders. The question is, what does that mean? So as part of this new strategic alternatives, the company not consider the sale or disposition of the company's interest in TKO. So they're not selling TKO, but who knows what's going to happen to Endeavor the company that owns TKO. That is an interesting move. WWE is not really affected by this. Obviously, if something comes down the line for Endeavor, if they get sold or something else, then maybe WWE can be affected by this.
They're all out of money.
The biggest
no more
thing is
spending.
the stock price continues to fall. WWE is getting less and less probably money that they can. So it's going to be an interesting 2024, I think, for WWE.
They got a lot of free agents coming up.
Yeah, I think Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, I believe, was the one that reported that they have a lot of free agents. WWE has a lot of free agents coming up in 2024, and they haven't had discussions with any of them yet.
It's about to get
That's real
spicy.
bad.
And you thought AEW had too many WWE guys. Now.
Wait till the floodgates open.
Wait till Drew Galloway and Sheamus O'Shaughnessy are on the scene.
And Mike Mizanin. What I mean, that's the big thing is that, like, when you compare it back to how they sort of treated UFC when they purchased UFC, is that they had a bunch of top guys that became free agents, and then they were like, "Nah, we're good. We're not going to sign these guys." Highly plausible for
and they
WWE
lived
to have
on.
the same thing happen to them.
Shockingly, I know. Shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Shocked they were fine.
And a lot of that as well is this idea of, like, UFC has become really profitable, and part of it is because they're not really paying for top free agent guys back in the day and giving these guys top contracts. If you do the same thing at WWE, that's a lot of top guys that are suddenly available to the other company.
Here's where WWE wins between releasing a bunch of top guys in their company compared to UFC. UFC has to hype up people, and then if those people lose, they're screwed. They can just WWE can book whoever they want to be good, and they'll eventually get over.
Fair.
Well, I say eventually because most of them usually do.
Yeah, that's fair.
With that fan base, they usually do these days.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by what happens. It doesn't really tell us anything. It just sort of spells. It's just all it really tells us, by the way, is that Endeavor.
I'll say it now. I'm putting my prestige on the line. The prestige that I don't have.
Clip it, producer, clip it.
Will Ospreay is a lock for AEW. I won't even say it's not even a question to me. I think he goes to AEW. I don't think there's he could say WWE's in the thing. That's just to raise the price a little bit, baby.
Of course.
As he should. And
that's
why he got himself an agent. Raise that price, baby. Get yourself a boatload of dough. Sign what is probably going to be your contract for the prime of your career, and don't look back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And there's a lot of old. That's the other thing about WB. There's a lot of older dudes. There's a lot of more expensive dudes. I said Mike Mizanin, and the reason I said that is you can get the same thing out of a guy like Grayson Waller for a fraction of the price, probably.
Yeah. If you told me by the end of next year the likes of a Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and AJ Styles were all gone, I would be like, okay. And they're fine, I bet.
I think all three of them get picked up by AEW probably. And if TNA gets better television and, as we talked about last week, bumps up the arena and sells more tickets and whatnot.
It's funny. I admittedly don't care where Drew or AJ Styles would go. I'd want Sheamus to go to New Japan.
Oh, I would love Sheamus in New Japan.
Sheamus in New Japan's a match, and I feel like he's the type of guy that's maybe
Sheamus in a G1. Ishii, Shingo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said this before we started recording. I 100% believe this to be true about our podcast. Ring Post Radio is the most unserious podcast about serious professional wrestling. We do not take ourselves seriously, but we take the topics, the conversation, for the most part, seriously.
That's why we don't talk about Joshi. That's the only thing I take myself seriously.
Well, it also doesn't help that Stardom is having a cold year at best. But hey, we talked about Ronda Rousey coming into Stardom, so
cold year at best. Yet They're not the company drowning like a certain AEW.
I was gonna say New Japan.
Well, everyone technically they're still making money.
Yeah, I would
Like,
say if you had to look at
actually, you know what? We're taking a side road here.
Okay.
Okay. I know we got stuff to talk about. We'll get to it.
We do have a lot of stuff to talk about.
I was talking to someone about, we do, but like it's fine.
No, you're fine.
We were talking about I was talking about Booker of the Year with a few people recently. And it's like, who the hell do you pick?
It's tough.
Because it's like, okay, New Japan had a great first 6 months, and I would say the worst final 6 months of the year for any company. Because they've done nothing.
It was fine. Stuff happened.
The G1 was bad until the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah. Shit. Terrible. Okay.
I wouldn't say bad, but it wasn't good. It wasn't its usual great.
It was bad. I will say it was bad.
Oh, I know.
Because they just had too many people. Whatever.
I think a lot of hardcore fans will not say Tony Khan.
Here's also another reality. I'm still on New Japan. Let me talk. Sonata and Hiromu have not been it.
No.
I liked Hiromu better in the first half of the year. I know you were still like in and out. This second half has been awful. It's been awful. He should have lost to Master Wato. I'm not even kidding. Wato's having a great junior tag of the 2 matches I've seen.
Have you noticed that Wato's like bulked up a little bit? Like he's lost,
not
really bulked up, but he's like trimmed down a little.
He's a lot more confident too, which is nice. But yeah, like New Japan's fallen off a cliff, in my opinion. They'll be fine, obviously. I'm not. That's what you expect with them. But the G1's usually supposed to power the second half. It did not power the second half.
No.
Right? AEW. I mean, we don't have to. I don't even think we have to sit here and act like this is going to happen.
I don't think you can hang your hat, your Rossi Ogawa cap, as Booker of the Year on pay-per-views alone.
Nope. You sure can't, because it's been a messy year.
Yeah.
Right? You can point at a lot of things. You can just point at overall booking. You can point at bringing CM Punk back and dealing with all that. You could bring just right. It's like it's not even a contest.
WWE. Before we say it, I'm gonna just say it should be Triple H / Vince McMahon as the booker for WWE this year.
Sure, whatever. My point with WWE is they
strong start.
Yeah, for sure. WrestleMania all the way through WrestleMania.
Summer, real good.
And I think that takes the cake overall at the end of the day. Like, it may not work for me, a lot of it, but it works for the overall crew. And that alone is what deserves it, right? The reason we came up with this is because I was talking to someone who covers New Japan full time.
Mm-hmm. You can just say Chris Sampson.
It's not Chris Sampson. They have a New Japan show. They write New Japan articles, and he said to me that Rossi is very much outbooking Gato, and I was like, "That's very interesting." So then I talked to a Stardom person who thinks Gato's outbooking Rossi. It's like, so it's the people that aren't connected to these promotions that are hyper analyzing that feel
like their own team is losing.
Yes, and I feel that very interesting because Stardom's obviously had a very down year compared to the last two.
The beginning, that first month or two of Stardom was ice cold.
It was nothing. They did nothing. But what's funny is if you look at Stardom, they've had some of their biggest numbers. They had their biggest number ever. They had the biggest core. They had the biggest Korakuen of the year, the biggest.
Yeah.
They had the biggest Yokohama Budokan until the freaking Crushed Gals ruined that, which is like not fair. So it's like, if you look at the metric wise, they win. In terms of booking, I'm not giving them the win.
I would almost like say Stardom is a potential promotion of the year, but Rossi really
which is very funny because I don't think anyone would anyone that hyper analyze Stardom be like, not this year. But that's the thing. Everyone else has been so bad. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So it's like, and this year has been a great year for wrestling.
I would say the people up there for me in terms of Booker of the Year is like, I'll just say the people that I think so far like solid contenders for maybe Booker promotion, wherever you want to slice it. Stardom, maybe not necessarily Rossi. Rev Pro. I really like Rev Pro.
I'm
they
not
did
giving them
copper
Book
boxes.
of the Year.
No, that's fair. I think they should be at least in the conversation of promotion, just because they were able to do copper box and sell that out. Or I don't even know.
Yeah, but they just used AEW to do that.
No, well, they used Will Ospreay, New Japan to do that.
That would be like no. I'm gonna fight this now. That would be like saying GCW gets it because they ran WrestleMania weekend and did well.
That's fair, but they're not doing as big of arena than the copper.
Well, they're doing 75 shows instead, which is
that better?
I don't think so.
Quantity over quality, I guess. That's a slight dig. But they're also having the other show coming up. Was it Uprising, wherever it's called? I think they should at least be in a conversation. I think a bigger contender, and I think you may agree with me here, CMLL, I think is big contender written all over.
I said that to someone, and then they sent me the thing that Tessa won. And they're like, "Never mind." I was like, you got me there.
It's coming.
I think,
folks.
It's just such a tough year. Like the promotions that have had the highest of highs, or like best overall years for me, are like CMLL and like All Japan.
All Japan is another good contender.
They've heated themselves up.
They have been sneaking up, almost beating Noah, if not beating Noah most of the time at this point. They might secure the bag and get Nakajima, which would be a huge thing going into 2024 for them.
They at least got him for a Kento match, which I mean,
seemingly, yeah.
And they'll probably get the third one.
That's huge. That's a huge spot. For me, it's kind of like personal. I like the Rev Pro part of the conversation, but I don't think they're winners. I think CMLL's up there. I think All Japan is kind of up there. Stardom, kind of, because
it's pretty much everyone that won't win. Because at the end of the day, when this is voted on, it's WWE or AEW or New Japan if they have like a great year.
Yeah,
it's just going to be WWE.
I'm truly fascinated to see how the promotion of the year kind of conversation happens.
Dave said it was WWE.
Well,
Triple H,
that's
whatever.
Fair. I understand why. I completely understand why.
If I had to pick between those three,
WWE, New Japan, and AEW,
I would pick WWE.
Yeah, I would too. I would probably as well.
I don't love a lot of their shows, but it's true.
Yeah. What about Shawn Michaels in NXT?
People love NXT. Like NXT is like caught in a very interesting fire among people as of the past couple months. I don't and Triple H has won it for NXT before. But
yeah, in a pre-AEW world.
It was still 2.0 this year, so disqualified. Anyways, you want to get on to like our actual topics?
Yeah. Now we're in. We got actual topics to discuss.
That's the beauty of Ring Post Radio, baby.
All right, we got 4. Well, I'll give you the option here. We got 4 to talk about. Noah Demolition Stage, WWE Crown Jewel, New Japan Power Struggle, and our hot topic of the day.
We'll get through all of them. You know what we'll do? We'll toss hot topic in the middle. Let's close out with Power Struggle.
Okay.
Let's hit WWE first, then Noah.
All right. So Crown Jewel.
Why?
WWE...
Because I said so. I could give you no other reason of why I decided that was our order today.
So WWE Crown Jewel, a promotion again that is happening in Saudi Arabia, a country that does not respect women, a country that is.
There's 2 women's matches. You're supposed to think.
My apologies. Women are loved now in Saudi Arabia. A country that has been very negative and has way too much political influence. Has influence over the Trump administration, influence over Twitter now, influence all of this stuff. Have murdered journalists before. So I just want to point that out there before we get into this topic.
Did I ever tell you I wrote a paper in college about Saudi Arabia when they killed the journalist and like how WWE ran a show there?
Really?
Yeah, it was like a current event thing.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why, but I got a good grade on it. And I got to write about like that. I was like, how they're still running despite a guy just dying.
Yeah. Did he mention that they're one of the reasons this is what I would have written in the paper, that one of the reasons they're still running is they're making like 4 times they would on a show.
Yeah. I was like, they signed this big money $1 billion multi-billion-dollar deal
Mhm.
to pretty much just, and they were the first to do that. There's been a lot more since. Like pretty much everything is getting into it now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Live golf,
obviously
obviously.
golf. UFC, I think, is finally going over there, despite Ari.
They're over there
originally saying that
now,
never
right?
happened.
I think they're over there right now.
I think Tyson Fury and the other guy are there now. I think they went to Abu Dhabi
Sure.
recently. Whatever. But yeah, there's fights over there now. There you go. Right. We'll put all of fighting into it.
MMA is in there now.
But this is the most matches a WWE card has had in like months.
Yeah, I mean, as of press time,
most of them are bad or not interesting to me.
As of press time, we have 7 matches. Let's go through some of them right now. WWE Women's Title match: Io Sky versus the returning Bianca Belair.
That should be good. Match.
Should be a good match. They've had good stuff before. They've had good stuff in NXT. I don't think there's any reason to not have a good match here.
That's really
my analysis.
I would be a little bit surprised if this was not the I think it'll be a top 3 match of the show easily. Is that fair?
Yeah. In terms of work rate or in terms of crowd reception?
Oh, I don't care about the crowd work rate.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was like,
all the crowds love WWE.
Logan Paul's in there easily.
Of course he is. That's the work rate king, baby. Imagine Logan Paul versus Will Ospreay.
Look, it would be great. I think legitimately
probably get 5 stars.
I was about to say there's a legitimate chance that match would get 5 stars. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I don't have any.
I'm gonna go on record. Logan Paul has the last great Roman Reigns match.
Probably true.
From last year's Crown Jewel.
It's probably true.
That was a great match.
It was great. I think I went like 4+ on it. Bianca Belair, I think there's a chance she wins.
She shouldn't, but there's definitely a chance.
Yeah.
I will root for Io until, forever. But I watched Io versus Charlotte from a few weeks ago. It was the best Charlotte has looked in forever. And it was mostly because Io was bumping her ass off.
And you rated a 3 1/4?
3.5 maybe.
Oh, quite generous. Quite generous of you.
It was really solid. I mean, the end soured me, so it's like whatever. But she looked good, and Bianca's better, so this should be better.
Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. The eternal struggle of Cody Rhodes versus Judgment Day.
The internal struggle of we need something for Cody until Roman. And we're just going to keep putting him against the same guys until War Games. And then after War Games, we're going to keep trying to throw things at the wall and see what sticks, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. Cody wins.
Yeah, I think Cody wins.
They should make it for the briefcase.
Is this Cody's first Saudi Arabia show?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
Surely not, right?
There was one earlier this year, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was on that one.
Yeah, big payday. Big Cody payday.
He was on that sweet Saudi.
God, Cody works so many matches now in AEW. It's insane. He's
no,
only
he's not
38 years old.
That's the trick. He's not in AEW.
Yeah, in AEW, he worked 14, 34, 28 matches. And then
there's a debate to be had that if you want to wrestle, you probably should sign with WWE.
2023, 88 matches.
He was not on the Saudi show.
I wonder.
Wait, yes, he was. He placed Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. Did not know that Night of Champions was in Saudi.
Yes, it was. It looks like Cody Rhodes had maybe 76 matches in his AEW career. He has had 88 matches this year alone.
Is that our new stat of the week?
Quick, get Dave on the phone.
I'll toss up. Cody Rhodes has had more matches in Saudi Arabia this year than he had
Arabia this year.
Just start lying now. See what happens.
That's a good stat of the day.
Cody wins, beats Damian Priest. Anyways.
John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. I talked about it at the top. There is I think, strong possibility that this match doesn't even happen.
I'm going to assume Cena wins.
Personally, I would love if this match doesn't happen because this means I might have a job.
And I don't have to watch a Solo Sikoa singles match.
Even better.
I don't think he's very good. Is that a hot take?
Solo Sikoa? He's still very green. Like people are talking about how he's like the next Roman Reigns and stuff. And I mean, yeah, they're probably like probably setting him up maybe down the line. He's 30 years old. He has only wrestled 129 matches. He is still very green.
How can you be the next?
Before he got
Roman
to
Reigns?
WWE, by the way, he wrestled, I don't know, 30 matches.
Jesus, was his name Sefa?
Yes, Sefa Fatu.
For one of the old websites I worked for, there was someone that did this article. It's called Indie Watch on him. It was the most read article in the history of the website. It went bonkers because he was part of the Samoan dynasty.
What about Lance Anoa'i? Was he on there?
Can
I pull up the article? Can we pull up the article real quick and then see who was on that Indie Watch list?
No.
No,
it was a series. Indie Watch was a series.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's fine. Well, John Cena's gonna get the win. Solo's gonna get 5-knuckle shuffle his way out the door.
Great.
And there's a strong possibility the match doesn't even happen. Do you think if a SAG deal went through, John Cena would vote no on it just so he can work this match?
Yeah, he's that committed.
He's that committed to it.
Acting like he gets a vote.
He if he's a SAG member, he does get a vote.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
Same thing with The Rock.
His vote probably won't change much.
No. There's so many other people in the union beyond John Cena, but there's The Rock too. There's Dave Bautista. Do these people have say? Are they gonna say no so John Cena can work this match?
Yep.
We'll find out.
Still won't.
United States title match: Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. It's Logan Paul. It is Rey Mysterio, who can still, for the most part, kind of go. Not as much, obviously, than he once was, but I don't think you're going to get old. You're not going to be able to get old Rey Mysterio out of here.
Well, he's 50.
He's 50. Logan Paul is going to try, though. Logan Paul is going to be all over the place he's going to out-lucha this mother trucker.
This should be really good, and Logan Paul should win.
I agree. I fully agree that
Logan Paul. So I watched like one of his segments from SmackDown or something. He's really good at everything.
I know.
I hate to admit it.
Every time we come on this podcast,
but
we always talk about how we hate this man as a person. Talk about separating art from the artist. We hate this man as a person, but god damn, he's so good at wrestling.
I didn't know if he was fully good at the other part yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good at the other part.
Yeah.
And he's hateable, so he just gets booed anyways.
He's so good.
I'm putting that title on him, and I'm just letting him walk around with it.
Yeah. Why not? I don't see any reason not to.
You can book him against to the WWE roster page. Give me 1 second.
Austin Theory. No, they're heels.
No.
They're all heels.
No.
What about a faction? Him, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller.
Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens would be good.
He's on SmackDown now.
Kevin Owens he's now on the SmackDown. Carlito, yeah, maybe. No. Santos Escobar? Dragon Lee versus Logan Paul?
That's actually probably legitimately plausible.
That's
part of the whole
might be in the plans.
Part of the whole LWO feud. That's plausible.
All right, it's that they could also just do LA Knight. Once he loses to Roman, they could just easily go to LA Knight.
Oh my god, that'd be good.
Anyways, let's move on.
I got distracted by looking at the arena for the NWA, and then I saw someone in the ring flanked by 2 people in psychedelic panda costumes, and I was like, "What the fuck is up?"
For the WWE Women's World Championship, it'll be Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Sorry, she's not Gonzalez. She's Rodriguez. This is the first time we've talked about Nia Jax on this show since she's returned. I know everyone was waiting for it. You're welcome. We've made it. Rhea wins. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, Rhea's undoubtedly winning. This is just the
she
way.
Lost, it'd maybe be the dumbest decision WWE's made of the year.
This is. I mean, there's a possibility.
She just got PWI 100 or one, whatever the fuck it's called.
She got 100. God, imagine if the internet blew up and she got 100. No, I think that there is obviously the possibility that this is the way to put the title on Nia Jax without Rhea Ripley losing. I think that's silly. And then you can like have her win the Rumble or whatever and do that again.
Oh, yeah. Let's have her and Cody win the Rumble twice.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bigger possibility is that this is a way for them to have Nia Jax not take the pin and Rhea Ripley to pin. I'm going to guess Zoe Stark. I'm going to put my money down on Zoe Stark.
That makes sense. I saw, speaking of Royal Rumble, I saw someone tweet this out. Maybe it was Ebu, how they should make the World Heavyweight title main story next year, Gunther versus Sami Zayn. And I was sold on it. That would be good.
Yeah, it would be good.
I think Gunther should be the next world champion. So, and have that for a while.
How do we get that to happen? He's got to lose the IC title at some point, right?
He can lose it to Chad Gable. At Survivor Series, finally. It's like his 9th try. Yeah. He finally does it. People are happy. And then I would hot shot him right at Seth. Get the belt off of Seth.
I'm down. I'm down.
Or you have him win the Rumble and beat Seth at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's plausible. I would love that.
He deserves it after his performance last year.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Seth, WWE World Heavyweight title match, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
You know, in some world, this might have been good, but I couldn't be less interested in this if I tried.
Do you think in a pre-Nakamura feud world, this would be more interesting?
Absolutely. Yeah. After the Nakamura stuff, I don't want to see Seth on my TV anymore. That's probably not his fault. And I don't really care for Drew. Drew missed in the Gunther match. You know how much Drew missed? I liked Gunther's match with Bronson Reed better.
Yeah, I've heard that was very good. I put that on I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that was very good.
Like, I don't know. They could go crazy, maybe shock us, but I'm guessing Seth wins and then Drew goes full heel finally.
Yeah, I think this is just the pathway to get Drew full heel. Even though he's been leaning into it slowly over the past like month or two. So I think you're right. I think this is just a chance to do that. And it's going to kick off him turning heel, and then they'll have the match at whatever the Survivor Series again. And it'll be a something match. I don't know. They already did Last Man Standing. No DQ or something like that. I don't know. It'll be something. It'll be silly, but it'll be whatever. Good on them. WWE title / Universal title match: Roman Reigns versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
Wait for that one. Talk to me about this one, Scotty.
Acknowledge me.
Oh, interesting.
Roman wins.
Oh, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, Roman's winning.
Roman
Not
wins.
even a conversation we had.
Isn't me like kind of silly to put the guy who's incredibly over here in the States in a title match in Saudi Arabia? I'm not saying the Saudi Arabia crowd doesn't like LA Knight, but what I am saying is feels like a missed opportunity here.
Yep.
But I don't really care. LA Knight should not be winning the title.
No. Could we make an argument for LA Knight to win the title? I think if Roman wasn't on this long, say it again.
I think it would be like making the Jay White argument almost.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Or same thing if the Kenny Omega argument.
Yeah.
If Roman Reigns wasn't on the super long streak and in the middle of like other stories, there is an argument of like, yeah, you should put on LA Knight because he's super over. And there's an argument that just like Cody Rhodes, him losing here is going to hurt him. Just like it did Cody Rhodes. Just like it does Every single person, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, the list
Thing
goes
is-
on and on.
I don't think he can bounce back like Cody either.
LA Knight.
Yeah, because Cody's just Cody. Like
Yeah.
Cody's really good at being himself and getting himself over, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
LA Knight is like a kind of like a what's the say? I don't know, spark plug type guy. Like this is like he's caught fire, but he'll cool down very quickly.
Flash in a pan.
Flash in a pan, that's the one. That's what he is. That's what he is. And you know what? I would have just saved it for Survivor Series, truthfully, but it's okay. If I'm guessing Roman's not, I think I saw Roman's not even booked for that show because they're having war games anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's probably why they did it here.
Yeah. I think that
And I think it was going to be AJ Styles actually, and AJ or someone got hurt.
yeah, I think that's
So ultimately, it ended up being LA Knight because he's the most over. You know what this is? This is the Ryback situation. Remember when Ryback was wicked over and they needed to put him against, and they put him against CM Punk, who had the record long reign, so CM Punk couldn't lose? Yeah. That is exactly what this is.
And just like Ryback in a similar way, I think it will be a test to see if this is truly a flash in the pan or if LA Knight's overness has staying power. If he can remain over despite a loss, then we got something here, right? We got something. It'd be like we got to belt him up because we got.
It's always good to test him, and you
always
know
good to test him.
You can have him beat, like I said earlier, you can have him beat Logan Paul.
That could work. Him beating Logan Paul for the U.S. title down the line. Do that at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean it's not a world title, but I think it's still something.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That can be
for a guy that calls himself the megastar, go against a guy that's actually like
a megastar in this company.
Star.
Yeah. It only comes down to post Crown Jewel.
Yeah. Can he is he Ryback or is he Cody in this situation?
That's the question. That's Crown Jewel.
And the way WWE's been going lately, he could be a Cody, but we'll see.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, WWE that will come down to not WWE. That will, well, partly it will, but it'll also mostly come down to LA Knight. Can he
next week is next week our last show before your wedding?
Yeah, I think so.
The 5th, right?
Yeah, I'm here for the 5th.
Your wedding's the week after.
Yeah, my wedding's the week after.
I will not be replacing you that week, by the way.
You're gonna go solo dolo?
I'm probably just not gonna record anything.
Well, that's fine. We don't have to. I'm totally okay not recording anything. I'm obviously out.
Well, you would have to be the one to upload, and it's like
I can upload it. It's going to take me. If you send me the audio and send me the description of like what
is about, that week?
What do you mean that? What's that week?
Is there a lot going on? Review
Lone Star Shootout review, AW Full Gear preview, but we would do it together the week before, obviously.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
Down.
You know what? I'm not going to put it in stone yet. Ring Post Radio listeners, I may save the day.
You just have 2 guests. You should bring on 2 people.
Oh, I like that.
I just gave you more work to do, but
shit, you did. But I know people.
You're connected.
Let me just say this: it's easier to get people to talk about every topic than just Joshi. So I could probably do it pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you could also have it. You could have some person like in the first hour, some people in the second hour, and then we just combine the clips together.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it live. I guess you could do it live. You're on the StreamYard.
What?
What I said was that you could do it live because you have the StreamYard.
What?
Scotty, I don't know if your audio is in. I saying that you could do it live. I'm gonna end this bit. Noah, we have like 25 minutes left or whatever. Noah Demolition Stage. Demolition Stage. I'm worried that
do you remember what we did last week? We had 20 minutes left to go, and we said, "Oh, let's do Hot Topic." We went 40 more minutes.
That's why I'm scared that the Hot Topic is going to take up the rest of the show.
I don't. Whatever. Go.
Noah Demolition Stage in Fukuoka. They had 1,300 in attendance, and we only watched the last 4 matches, which I think is
care
fair.
About myself.
I don't know of anything else that happened in these other matches.
Let me ask the good people. Okay. Do you want me to watch a match with the hell is that? Stallion Rogers? Do you want me to watch a match with oh no, this is really bad. Hajime Ohara? You want me to watch a match with okay, I won't say that one. LJ Cleary?
Hideki. Well, I kind of want to watch that. I'm not looking at it. LJ Cleary and Anthony Green versus Kaito Kiyomiya and Rohei Oiwa? Maybe. 14 minutes.
Well, one team's great and the other team's
LJ Cleary and Anthony Green.
LJ Cleary's the guy. Fun fact: LJ Cleary's the guy that had the random international title match against Pac.
Yeah, and he's not that bad in that match. It wasn't that bad.
Sure.
So the last 4 matches of here were Naomi Chimera-Fuji, and I'm just going to read through it, and then we can talk about it. Naomi Chimera-Fuji and Takeshi Sugiura defeat Axis, Go Shiozaki, and Katsuhiko Nakajima. This is Nakajima's last match in Noah. GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team match, Alpha Wolf and Dragon Mane defeat the good-looking guys team of Tadasuke and Yohei. GHC National Title match, Jack Morris. That's right, Jack Morris.
That's why we're. By the way, that is why this is on the show. Ryan wanted nothing to do with this show, and then he saw Jack Morris one. And he's like, "We have to talk about this show." 100%. So I had to watch it.
And that's the thing. It's not just that Jack Morris won. He's our boy. We have to talk about it, but also defeating the very long and very great reign of El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. Right? That is significant. This guy held the title for 352 days.
Yeah.
Fantastic reign. And of course, the main event, again, we also have to talk about it because of the main event. GHC heavyweight title match. Kano defeats Jake Lee. That reign is finally over. If there was one word you can use to describe that word, it would be Scotty.
Mid.
Where we start at the top, obviously.
Think about those 4 matches. Just give me some thoughts.
All right, let me start with Nakajima. That was my favorite match of the 4.
Really? Oh, really? Okay.
They just hit each other really hard. It's 4 of the greatest Noah wrestlers ever. Just
Kento Kobayashi was in
4 of. 4 of. There's Kenta Kobayashi. Like, shut up. I said 4 of. There's Kenta. Duh. Like, there's other people, but they're 4 of the best. If there was a top 15, they'd all be in it, okay?
4 of the best modern Noah wrestlers.
No, just 4 of the best.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Marufuji's in this match. Marufuji's arguably the best. Shut up.
Well, Ospreay had a match in Noah this year. Does he get?
I don't give a shit. No. Whatever. This match rocked. Hard hitting. Great way for Nakajima to go out. I don't know. I just love all 4 of these guys. That helps. And I feel like I haven't seen Segura wrestle in a very long time. So like watching him in there, I was very happy. It's been a little bit for me. He got hurt in the Jake Lee match, carrying that motherfucker, and then just hasn't been around. And he won. So that was cool. Axis is done. Shiozaki looked good. Nakajima looked good. Marufuji did his best.
Modern day Marufuji.
Yeah. And then
the junior match I thought was pretty good too.
Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane are the best thing to ever happen to Noah.
I'll say second best because Dr. Wagner Jr. was.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty good.
Dragon Bane. Everyone should watch that match just for Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf because they do some crazy shit.
Is the hot take that some of the best stuff in Noah right now are outside talent?
Well, there's not a lot of stuff in Noah to begin with. Half of it is outside talent, to be fair.
That's another my point proven.
So I guess it's not a hot take. I guess it's just a truth.
Yeah, you got. You got Alpha Wolf Dragon Bane. You got Jack Morris, El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. I'll throw in Oiwa. Why not?
Yeah, well, that's good cheating.
There's some other people like Green, LJ Cleary, Stallion Rogers.
Yeah, but like they don't add. So don't add them in. Don't add them in. You're better if you leave them out.
Ninja Mac. I want to be fair.
Teriyaki.
Well, hold on. We can't dunk on Teriyaki.
I like Teriyaki.
Does Teriyaki
Well,
finally have a cage match profile?
I don't know, but it's a great name.
That guy, he wrestles a lot.
Teriyaki. I'm cheering for Teriyaki.
He wrestles a lot in
Noah. He's in Noah now.
I know he's a Noah star now.
He's a Noah.
I was gonna say he wrestles a lot in Georgia. He does a lot of Georgia.
Oh, so you should be rooting for him too.
I am rooting for Teriyaki.
All right, Jackie Morris versus El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. One, I'm very sad that El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr.'s reign is over.
Yeah,
because
fantastic reign.
If you remember me talking about the show a year ago and how I was like, Masakatsu Funaki needs to go away and never be seen again.
Yep.
My boy Wagner.
Title's dead.
My boy Wagner Jr. He saved this title. He brought this title up against people that aren't, the top guys of this company.
Yeah.
Right. That's what he did it against.
So he beat Funaki for the title, defended against Inamura, Manabu Soya, Jack Morris, Hideki Suzuki, Amakusa. Where's it? Remember him? Where's he? Psycho Clown.
Amakusa broke his leg or something.
Oh, you're right. Psycho Clown. Got Psycho Clown into the company.
If I had to rate those, I really like the Jack one.
Yep.
The first one. I really liked I think the Soya and Inamura ones were solid. I remember the Suzuki one being good because it was short.
It was 12 minutes.
And Amakusa was pretty good. The Psycho Clown one was my least favorite.
His previous defenses were 20 plus minutes.
But my point is, he put together such a great reign against a lot of the under talent of Noah. And giving this to Jack Morris obviously is a big deal. Giving Jack Morris the chance to shine is a big deal. So obviously, if you come on this podcast, you will become a champion. Pro wrestlers, we are telling you this now. He's the only pro wrestler that's ever been on this podcast. Next up, it could possibly be you. You could walk out of here champion.
Give us the call, Teriyaki.
I'm just telling you now. So I'm just saying, okay. I think Jack Morris has put in the work to get to this point, and it's paying off for him. He's a double champion, not just a single champion. He's a double champion.
Yeah. And
I'm happy for him. I don't think his reign needs to be long or anything. I just think the fact that he got such a accolade against such a great, credible champion is all that he really needs. And if I had to guess for the 1-1 show, since we are kind of building to that next, and they have a tag title match against Kaito and Oiwa next week, I'm thinking maybe you have Kaito pin Jack to win the tags, and then you do Kaito and Jack at the 1-1 show. I think that would be really good.
That's interesting.
I think that would be a good plan. You get two big title matches on that show. Kind of go the new direction for Noah with those 4 at the top.
He can do a title defense against Oiwa.
Please. Oiwa's really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say top 10 wrestler Noah right now. And it's not even a question. I think him and Kaito are great together.
Yep.
And I would like to see Jack if Jack can get a win over Kaito, right? Because there's history. That was the first person he ever faced.
Yes.
And
another reason why that 1-1 match would be really good.
Yeah. And then I would, he could probably get one more defense after that, then drop it. I think that's a fine reign for him because that's probably 5 months by then, based off of just Noah's schedule.
I almost like the idea. Let me look this up. How they've wrestled a couple times. What's the record between Jack Morris?
1-1.
1-1?
Yeah.
That would be the
I
third.
defended the belt against him.
That would be the you're right. You're right.
Which was really good too.
Because Jack Morris won that debut match against
Jack Morris's best matches have been his title matches, which again is a credit to him.
He's really come along. He's been doing great stuff in Noah. I'm very ecstatic anytime I see him in a title match, honestly. I'm just looking up their record between the two. Yes, 1-1. Jack Morris beat him when he came into the company August of 2022 for the N1. and then lost in the title match Great Voyage in Osaka in February of this year. A 1-1 match is the third one there. That's pretty good. I would be down to see that completely.
The only reason you hold off is if you want Kaito winning the belt later, I think.
The world?
The national.
The national?
Give him something different.
Mm-hmm. Have him do something with the tag titles for a bit.
Yeah, because I think Kano should have a year-long reign, because I think no one needs him to have a year-long reign. We'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be something for Kaito, who I think he'd do great with that title, truthfully.
Going back to Dr. Wagner Jr. squared, he probably the best national champion in the history of the title, short history of the title.
He's probably does he have the longest reign?
Yes, 352 days. The next longest is 292 days of Funaki. So the champions were Takeshi Sugiura in 2019, then Nakajima, then Kano for a pretty long reign, then Fujita, then Sugiura again, then Mochizuki for 16 days, then Kano, then Funaki, and then Dr. Wagner Jr. squared.
It would either be Sugiura or Wagner. And I think Wagner was in a position against a lot weaker opponents, so I would probably give him the nod.
Let me look up
because I remember Sugiura faced Fujita, which was a great match. I think that was like the first Noah match I watched when I really got into it present day.
So when Sugiura won the title, vacant, created the title, all that stuff, he defeated Michael Elgin, remember that name, to win the title. He defended it against Taniguchi, Kitamiya, and Kiyomiya, I should say, Tanaka, and lost it to Nakajima. In his second reign was much shorter, won it off of Fujita, defended it against Sakuraba, beat Tanaka to win the 0-1 title as well.
They had a great series.
And then lost it to Mochizuki.
I'd give it to Wagner then. I think Wagner, just based off of, again, who he faced and things like that, I'd definitely give it to Wagner. He did a great job, and it was time for him to lose, because the way I look at it is it's more moving him up now to the heavyweight title, because I think he's ready for that. I think I will map out what I think Kano should be doing, kind of, but he should be part of that reign.
I agree. He can. I think at this point you bump Dr. Wagner Jr. squared.
It's kind of like Gunther. The way we're looking at him, right?
Yeah,
it's like
agreed.
Just it's not a thing to hurt him.
Like Gunther, or in an alternate reality, like what should have been done with Orange Cassidy. Granted, different situations there led to him winning the title back, but still, great match, really good match between these two. Very excited to see what they do with Dr. Wagner moving forward.
Great finish too. The Tiger
Avalanche Tiger Bomb.
Tiger Bomb, yeah, that was really good. That was a really good way to end it, because it's like, okay, you had to hit the super version, right? I love Wagner, and I just hope he keeps coming back around. He's so good.
One of the best this year. Like one of the most underrated wrestlers.
One of the best champions this year in wrestling.
I would put it as like Gunther, him, Orange Cassidy as well.
Yeah.
Just speaking of those three guys. Main event
I
here.
Like Orange Cassidy's reign, but yeah.
Main event here, Demolition Stage. Kano versus Jake Lee. Kano finally gets the win. Jake Lee down for the count. Finally has lost the GH heavyweight title. Does this mean Noah can finally right the arc?
Jake Lee is the worst main event wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
World. Not Noah, the world.
Yeah.
He is awful. His matches are slow and boring. I was watching this match and I was like, this is what people think Sonata is. Like, this is what they think Sonata is. I am 10 times more interested in a Sonata title match than a Jake Lee title match. You know why? Because when Sonata's in there with a Kano caliber wrestler, it's usually, at the very least, really good, right? That match with Okada where he won the title was really good. Jake Lee had multiple chances to have really good matches in this reign, and none of them hit. Zero.
He
None.
won the title off of Kiyomiya, then Nakajima, then Marufuji, then Segura, then Go Shiozaki, and then lost it to Kano.
They gave him everyone.
He beat a lot of their top guys.
They gave him the who's who of Noah in 2023. He beat almost all of them, and he had a reign that was a reign of terror. He is terrible. You know why All Japan's the Bookers of the Year? Because they traded Jake Lee for Katsuhiko Nakajima in the swindle of the decade. That is a crime.
Yeah.
The only trade that might be worse is if like Jade Cargill for Edge. But we don't know yet. We don't know yet, right? We don't know yet.
They're not having her wrestle yet. So
so we can't say on that. It could be, or it could be a pretty even trade. Both are like, whatever. You know, it's like, we got to wait and see on that. But even then, I don't think anything's going to come close to Nakajima for Jake Lee. Because Edge and Jade Cargill, they're not going to be as bad as Jake Lee. Because Jake Lee, I repeat, worst main event wrestler in the world today.
Yeah.
I'm counting Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
At least Roman Reigns matches are a lot, like sometimes it's tricky. Jake Lee is just slow.
At least the crowd are into Roman Reigns matches.
Oh my god, amen, brother. Oh,
at least it's drawing fans into the arena.
When he tapped out, I was like, I literally just said, "Thank God." I wasn't even happy that Kano won. I'm happy that he lost.
Yeah, I was the exact same boat.
We can say all we want about Noah. I applaud Noah for trying to make him a guy. He's just not the guy.
I don't. It took forever.
Well, that's true. They should have known about halfway through this that it wasn't happening.
I don't know what they were thinking.
It's just, it's so bad.
223 days.
Also, I said this to Dylan, who listens to this show. I said to him, Jake Lee's 34. He has no chance in hell of ever getting better.
No,
like, this is it.
He's locked in. This is all you're getting out of him.
This is Jake Lee.
Yeah, he didn't change up anything going from All Japan to Noah.
I'm not even
kidding. They gave him the title.
A reason All Japan got better is because they got rid of Jake Lee. They lost the main eventer, but they just have him out of the picture, and it's 10 times better.
And instead, they bumped up a lot of the young guys like
Yuma Anzai, Aoyagi.
They're bumping up all these young guys.
Who are all better.
All better.
Yuma Anzai is better than Jake Lee, and he has wrestled a year. Jake Lee stinks. He is bad, and now let's move on from Jake Lee. I'm happy about that. Now let's talk about Kano, right? This is the man that saved us. And truthfully, he's the man that needs to save Noah after a year of bad.
He has a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now. He has to, I said, does this mean Kano can right the ship? If anyone is going to do it, it might be Kano.
They don't have anyone else that can do it.
No,
that's the thing, right? It has to be him.
You can't put this on anybody else. Well, maybe Teriyaki, but other than that, like it's like you really got nobody. I mean, legitimately, maybe Dr. Wagner Jr. squared, right? Maybe him.
Even then, I think you need someone as a bridge.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Like, yeah, we know what Takashi Sugiura is. Would I be often entertained by a Takashi Sugiura title reign? Damn right I would be. But for an overall rise of Noah or bounce back for Noah, it has to be Kano. And I said this earlier, it needs to be a year. Like, I'm giving him this belt for the next 365 days.
Mm-hmm.
They need this. They've lost Nakajima. They don't have any new rookies coming in. They have to make up guys, and thankfully what they do have is a road for Kano to have a great reign. You have Segura. I think that's an easy match. You have Dr. Wagner Jr.
Yep.
Squared. You have.
Thank you. I think there's an argument that Dr. Wagner Jr. squared could win the title off of him.
I think there's two people, and I'll get to that. There's Go Shiozaki, you do that title match.
obviously.
There is. I wrote this down. Give me 1 second. I wrote down his entire reign. Not in order, though. I'm not.
If you wanted to, you could do a Jack Morris match. I don't think they will, but they could.
They could if they want to get right back to him, right? Or after he loses, obviously, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think the musts are one that they've already planned, which is Soya. I think that is a brilliant first title defense.
Yeah,
because the story is natural there, and it's for their biggest show of the year. Right, the 1-1 show is probably their biggest show of the year. And I think Soya's done a great job of building himself up. He had a really solid N1.
Yeah.
For an M1 that was, he had a solid N1. And I think that match is very interesting. So you got him, you got Segura, you got Go Shiozaki, you got El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., and then, of course, Segura, like I said, and then Kaito.
Yeah.
Which Kaito should always be in this discussion because
But
that is their
good. I was gonna say is that as we sort of discussed with Kaito, though, he might be distracted by tag titles and the national title.
Yeah, like for me, I think they need to rebuild Kaito, which I think they're doing in a good natural way, in my opinion. I think the tag team into maybe a national run and then back to the world title would be good. I know it's not a world title, but you get my point.
You need to separate him out a little bit longer.
Yeah, and then you can go to him against Kano because that's at the end of the day your best matchup. Like that's your best match, right? And I think Wagner Jr. as maybe the person to beat Kano would not be a bad thing. Or if you really believe in Soya, who's getting pretty popular in Japan, he has a YouTube channel and stuff like that. You could always go back around to him. I think that's a possibility. But no matter what, you need Kano to run with this.
Yeah. I would say, though, if I had to give one concern, I guess.
There's a lot of concern about Noah.
Yes. Is having Kano lose the N1 to Go Shiozaki, and then Go Shiozaki loses against Jake Lee, and then Kano beats Jake Lee. There's something there where then you could have the first title defense be like Kano versus Go Shiozaki, right? That could be interesting. I'm just concerned that
they did do that. Yes, is that your point?
My concern is that, like, okay, then you kind of just make Go Shiozaki look a little worse in that sense. And then it's like what does it mean for the loser to then go on and win while the winner goes on and loses? Like, it's just, it kind of hurts the
That's
N1
happened a
victory.
few times.
Sure, it happened a few times. I don't necessarily like it when it happens.
No, definitely not.
But that's my one concern is just like the booking of it all. But that's that's Noah. The booking has never been great.
Yeah, that's true. The interesting thing is it had to be Kano because Shiozaki could break down at any moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
He's also their most popular star. I just think overall their goal again should just be to bring more prestige back to Noah, and he's the only choice. They need to start working with outsiders in Japan.
Yep.
Really badly, because that's what All Japan's doing well.
Yes.
All Japan's bringing in the right people. All Japan freaking had, brought in Sari and Kairi, for example. Like, and that I'm sure you saw the pictures of like their line and whatever. Like they were out the door, right? Like of excitement. Did you see that? Like when they wrestled, they had like a line that was crazy. Like they're bringing in Takuya Nomura, who's phenomenal from Big Japan, Fuminari Abe, and that's more junior stuff. But my point is, Noah needs to start working with someone. I don't know who. Yep. All Japan looked like it was the one, but
I mean, if you look at the world of Japan right now, maybe you work with some sort of Joshi company.
Like if I'm All Japan, I'm not sending my talent to Noah to lose. You're in a better spot than them right now.
You are, at this point, All Japan is like severe competition with Noah. They are on the same level now.
And they don't have the same backing.
No, way cheaper of a product to put on. I would have
way better
product.
They have better ace.
They've gone down to the old tried and true formula of Good booking.
Here's maybe the best way to describe where Noah is compared to All Japan. No one needed to go to their ace right now. All Japan happily passed up on their ace this past 2 weeks ago as their champion, kept going with the young guy, right? Like, that's the difference. They did Yuma versus Kento here, Jake Lee versus Kano today. That's the difference. Yep. Everyone was happy that Yuma won. Everyone was dreadfully hoping Jake Lee lost.
Noah.
I'll tell you what, though, I feel better about it now because Kano is champion.
Yeah,
not great.
There is the dark cloud is faded away. It's just like it's not quite sunshine, you know?
Yeah, it's you gotta overcast.
Yeah, it's still a little bit overcast. We'll see.
How do you get to sunshine? Because like they don't have anyone coming up.
That's what I'm saying. Dr.
Their
Martin
best
Jr.
prospect is New Japan's guy.
We're talking about Teriyaki and Ninja Mac. Put him in the world title picture.
Give away a world title match.
Give him put the Great Mummy in the world title picture.
I connected some dots earlier of how much New Japan swindled this company. So this also remember they had Kojima beat Kano last year, or Kano beat Kojima last year for the title.
Yes.
So to me, that's like we don't want Kojima losing to Kaito. Okay, we don't want that happening. So can you just get the belt off of Kojima? Sure. Right. Then Kaito wins the title. He gets absolutely embarrassed by Okada. One of the best stories of the year, but he gets absolutely embarrassed by Okada. Then they're like, oh, you know what? Can we get Kaito in the G1? Sure. And then he gets absolutely embarrassed in G1, doesn't even qualify.
Do you want Kaito to do something? No. Just him being in is good.
and then they say, hey, can you take Oiwa and like book him well? Thanks. They're like, we're gonna absolutely destroy your ace, but can you help us out? And they are.
Yeah.
But I did see someone post a cool picture, kind of how earlier this year Wrestle Kingdom between Noah and New Japan, it was Naito and Kano and then Sonata versus Soya, and that's the big matches for the beginning of the year. I was like, that's an impressive full circle type thing that I'm positive no one expected to happen. But maybe they did.
Do you think we'll have another New Japan Noah crossover show?
So I had ruled it out, thinking maybe they would do the historic crossover instead. But seeing historic crossover has been announced, but without a date, I think it's still possible. I don't need it.
Yeah,
I'd rather just do all together again.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens. I guess all together again. I think will work. You know, All Japan, plop them in there. Why not?
I prefer All Japan very much over both of these products right now. So
yeah,
but I know New Japan could turn it up at any time. That's the problem.
So we have 7 minutes left of the show.
Yeah, we're gonna get through both of them. Come on.
Really?
Power Struggle will take 2 seconds.
All right, then let's do Power Struggle then. Let's do Power Struggle real quick.
We'll end with your hot topic.
Yeah.
Your hot topic, not mine.
Well, you will have thoughts, surely, but I will be saying that there are some thoughts in that are my sole thoughts to protect Scotty Edwards. New Japan Power Struggle, also a Super Junior Tag League tour. There's none of those matches apparently happening on the show.
I think the final's supposed to happen there.
It doesn't say anywhere on Cage Match.
Well,
check.
You're on the bad website. Go to New Japan schedule. I'm gonna go to it instead. God. Yes.
Power Struggle.
It's set. The final is set for this show.
All right. Perfect.
Also, the Frontier Zone.
Yeah, so Frontier Zone is like some indie or something. I think it's actually what they're just calling the pre-show match because it was just a bunch of indie wrestlers last time. Basically, what this is a bunch of
this time.
It's 3 New Japan guys. Last time it was against a bunch of random indie scrubs. Now it's against Dragon Gate people. So it looks like this may be like sort of like a crossover going out into the frontier, pulling some indie New Japan people. What's that?
I said Swerve of the Year, Dragon Gate, and New Japan works together.
Strong Machine J's in there. That's a little something.
There are actually 3 really good wrestlers. So
I know.
I'm shocked.
So yeah, that's the pre-show match. I might be interested in watching that, but I don't.
It depends who the New Japan guys are.
We'll have the Super Junior Tag League finals that you already spoke about with, I don't know, I have not been following this tournament in any capacity.
Despi Wato. Despi. They're awesome.
What are the, I'm looking up the standings.
No idea. Don't even ask.
Despi and Wato, 8 points, followed by Sho Kanemaru, Kushida Knight, Connors Drilla, TJP, Francisco Akira, all at 6. Yo and whoever the guy he's this, Musashi. Taguchi and DKC's in this. Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita and Bushi and Titan all have 4 points. Doki and Taka Michinoku have 2 points.
That's shocking.
Really hurt my theory of Titan Bushi getting the win during this tournament, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so that is going to be whatever that's going to be. I guess the top 2 right now it's probably Despi and Wato and somebody else.
Despi and Wato getting the Wrestle Kingdom spot would make sense.
Other matches that are on this show: IWGP US/UK Heavyweight Championship match, Shota Umino versus Will Ospreay. Is Will Ospreay finally dropped his title finally against Shota Umino?
No. While I would love it to happen, no, because Ospreay needs to finish it off at Wrestle Kingdom. That's the way. That's the way these things go, right? They drop a title at Wrestle Kingdom on the way out. Crazy idea, I know. Putting over the young guy instead of putting over like someone like I don't know who the hell John Moxley. Is that who they're setting up as John Moxley because he's fighting Great O'Khan on the show?
Yes, he is fighting Great O'Khan, and I believe
what a random freaking match.
Well, I'm trying to remember, and I don't quite remember. That got set up because
Rev Pro,
where I believe John Moxley is planning to challenge Ospreay. And so basically Moxley has to beat Great O'Khan, Ospreay has to beat Shota Umino, and then the two of them will face probably at Wrestle Kingdom.
You don't think they'd hot shot that? I would hope they would hot shot that to like Lone Star.
Maybe they could. I don't think
they've wrestled
in
Texas before, haven't they? Oh no, was it Nashville that they wrestled on Strong?
I don't know.
I think it was.
They're probably not going to. They've already pretty much announced the matches for that show.
I don't think has no shows, no matches.
No, they got Lone Star's got matches.
They have no matches.
Hyann and Julia, isn't that happening at Lone Star?
That's tonight.
Huh?
All the matches for Strong are on.
Oh, you're right. I'm confusing the two. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens after.
How dare you question the person that interviewed one half of that duo?
I agree.
How dare you?
Fighting Spirit Unleashed will probably see what happens. They might announce the Lone Star matches like tomorrow or Monday or something.
Yeah. Mayu Utani versus Stephanie Vaquer is expected for that show.
Yeah, I'm very excited. If they don't announce the Lone Star matches by Monday or Tuesday, I would suspect that you would have to wait till Power Struggle for those matches to be announced, and then we'll find. If they don't, basically what I'm saying is, if they don't announce the matches Monday or Tuesday for Lone Star, then you're right. They might be hot shotting, putting the title onto Lone Star to sell some more tickets or something.
I don't like the potential of Moxley being the guy to beat Ospreay at all.
Me neither. I don't care for it.
Now, don't get me wrong. Match will be awesome. Mm-hmm. It'll be fantastic. But I don't want that as the last match of Ospreay's New Japan career.
You know what I also don't like about it? Well, you could do that match in AEW. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it there?
This is true. Well, maybe that's the start of his AEW story.
Or maybe it's the start of his WWE story.
But yeah, it's I don't know what they're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
Shota and back-to-back beating Yoda and Shota is tough. That's tough. It is an embodiment of New Japan's booking this year. Willing to give the young guys a shot, but not willing to go all the way.
I agree. I don't know. I don't think Shota's winning. I think it's just
No,
Ospreay winning.
there's no chance.
There's no way.
There's no chance.
And then-
Unless they're doing Moxley and Ospreay as a special match, but I think they're doing Okada versus someone as a special match. So why would you do two of them?
Because then who is Shota defending the title against?
Right. Exactly.
Um,
Yoda. That'd be beast. That'd actually be sick.
That'd
be so much. That'd be so cool, but they won't do that.
I think we've kind of already covered John Moxley versus Great-O-Khan. I don't think there's any capacity with Great-O-Khan getting the win here. A match I know you have circled on your calendar, Scotty. Tonga Loa versus David Finlay.
I will not watch this.
And I will, like a crazy man.
Does
this mean the Guerrillas of Destiny feud is not over with David Finlay?
Clearly. I can't stress this enough. How much more could you miss on your next big guy?
I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. I was thinking about the next top gaijin in New Japan in the shower this morning. And hold on.
What?
I was thinking about that in the shower this morning where it was just like, if Ospreay leaves New Japan, what is there left in terms of the international wrestler conglomerate for New Japan?
The guy who never leaves, Zack Sabre Jr.
That's it? Moxley has to come in to help out?
David Finlay. And the
Oof.
War Dogs, baby.
Oof.
Oh, wait, Shota's definitely losing because he's defending the title against Gabriel at the Rev Pro show.
The IWGP title?
Well,
yes,
he's going
if
to.
if he's defending the title, yeah. Yeah, so you're right. He's probably winning the title. Unless they do Shota Umino versus Gabe Kidd for some reason.
Well, Ospreay's definitely going to be on that show. So I want to say this too. I think another reason why New Japan has dropped is because of the War Dogs.
Bullet Club as a whole.
They're the War Dogs now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hold on. House of Torture are still
House of Torture, I don't compare part of Bullet. I completely forgot they're part of Bullet Club until
I always
the G1.
Yeah.
Like it's the War Dogs. The obsession of trying to push this group in every single way and it completely failing.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a failure.
Yep.
They have been good.
I'll say that, and I'll add in just like the never-ending feud of the Guerrillas of Destiny against these War Dogs,
Which to me is just Bullet Club. That's still just Bullet Club.
It's Bullet Club Civil War stuff that kicked off when Jay White was in Impact.
Yeah,
which was I think last year,
2 years ago.
Last year? No way. That's 2 years ago.
It's last year. Yeah, you're right. Early last year.
That's still
because he won the IWGP World Title and never touched Impact again.
as he should. As he should. But yeah, it is just like we are still doing this feud, and it's been over a year.
And it was never good to begin with.
No.
They gave all the belts to the War Dogs. Like they gave the Never, they gave the Strong titles, they gave the IWGP Junior titles. Awful decision making. I understand trying to put someone over, push someone. They're just the Jake Lee of New Japan.
And they are your international gaijins.
Yeah.
Tough. And you know what I'll also add to a bad year? Just like United Empire falling off the face of the earth.
Well, doesn't help that they're all signing away.
New Japan, if you would have wanted to fix that problem, you would have signed Aussie Open when you had the opportunity. When they asked you, can you sign us? And you said, no.
You think they should have done that, but hear me out. They had to pay Mercedes money. Remember what Alex Coughlin said? Tried to blame signing someone that's 20,000 times more popular than him to a contract. Oh no, you signed Mercedes money. Shut up, Alex Coughlin, you talentless bitch.
Tag team match: Yota Tsuji and Tetsuya Naito versus Yuya Uemura Uemura and Sonata.
I just hate like people. I hate when they blame wrestlers. Like he's not talentless. The problem is I like Alex Coughlin a lot, but I hate him in the War Dogs. I think it's the worst fit. Oh, I'm so angry now.
Never open weight 6-man tag team title match. Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada versus TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Shane Hayes, and Mikey Nichols.
This should be good. Should be really good, actually. It should be pretty good. I don't know.
I really wanted you to just continue the Alex Coughlin bit.
No, because I didn't mean what I said. I went a little overboard. I just got mad about like the Mercedes thing. It felt like it was just like so like.
Well, it's easy for him to say in hindsight with Mercedes getting injured and losing Aussie Open and seeing what happens after that.
I think there's like, bigger problems inside.
If Mercedes was never injured, New Japan would be in a better spot right now.
That's true.
In a way. You know?
That's true. I just think like I don't know. Blame the roster. Like New Japan's my problem with that promo, that part of the promo. And I'm sorry, Alex Coughlin. I like Alex Coughlin. I just got very angry. Take it back. You're not talentless. You're very talented.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You lifted Jeff Cobb in a really cool match in the G1. Anyways. And I don't like you War Dogs. I will say that. My problem with that is there are like acting like Bushiroad had no more money left after signing Mercedes Moné is insane to me. Right? Like I don't even remember why. Was it like they weren't going to book him or something? Do you remember this promo? What are you doing? Am I getting like reported? What are you doing?
Sorry, I just typed into Twitter to see if there was any updates on Collision, and the top news story that's just been unveiled is that Friend star Matthew Perry died after apparent drowning. 54 years old. That's so sad. Reported by TMZ. I just got very much distracted by that. I apologize, folks.
Well, now I'm distracted by that.
Yeah, that is real life sinking in. That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Chandler Bing.
That's
so sad.
That's incredibly sad.
I'm here stupidly ranting about pro wrestling and how I'm angry about a guy blaming Mercedes Moné, and oh my god, now I'm sad. All right, end the show.
I apologize, folks. Well, no, just to try to go back to it, I think this show, never open weight 6-man tag, I think should be pretty good. Ishii, Tanahashi, and Okada have been doing great stuff. This is the fourth defense against TMDK. This should be pretty good. Main event here, IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, Hiromu versus Taiji Ishimori. We kind of already spoke about it. We don't necessarily care for Hiromu right now. Taiji Ishimori coming back. I saw him in the Rev Pro.
I don't care about this match.
Yeah, I saw him in the Rev Pro tune up with Robbie X. Good work, but who cares? These guys, I've seen this match a bajillion times, and now I don't care about it. So it's whatever. I mean, Taiji wins. I don't know. I don't care.
When do you think it's the last time I cared about Taiji Ishimori? This is a serious question. Because I don't know.
Debuted at the very least.
I don't care. Like, here's the good thing. Like, these two have such great chemistry in the past that this could be excellent. But
the problem is that it could
could just be like another match for them.
Yeah.
They're probably not getting they're definitely not getting the main event. So it's like I have no interest in this.
Yeah, I'm at top maybe a 4-star. I think it's probably gonna be like 3.5.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't have any interest in Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah, I agree.
And Hiromu's been bad in the second half. So
that's Power Struggle. That happens next week.
Yep. I went a little off. I went a little off course on overtime here. That's my bad. I should have said no overtime. That's my bad. I went overboard on a guy I like. That's the problem.
Yeah. So Fighting Spirit Unleashed is happening probably right now, right? Power Struggles next week. The week after that is Lone Star Shootout. So a lot of New Japan talk in the next several weeks, folks.
Yeah.
A lot of New Japan talk. And then the tag league's starting up at some point. But who's going to talk about that? I don't know. Very good. I don't know. That Matthew Perry news struck a chord a little bit, so I don't really know if it's even worth going to the hot topic right now. I don't think that's
nah.
I think that works. I think we just gotta end the show, really. I had a whole bit planned. I gotta scrap. We gotta scrap it. And so cherish loved ones, folks. That's real life right there. That's sad stuff.
Yeah. It really hurt a lot. Say what I said and then bam.
Yeah, I apologize for bringing it up. I shouldn't have brought it up on the show either, but it was just like you see that and you're like, what?
Yeah.
It was like bring it back to wrestling. It was the same feeling I had when you saw like the Shad Gaspard the news story there when that cycled back. It was just like you're dumbfounded by the tragedy of life sometimes. Anyways, let's close up the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll be back next week in our usual time slot of Sunday morning, I presume, unless something comes up last minute, which I don't think it will. Follow us on Twitter at Scott E Wrestling. Follow me at Ryan Nicey. Follow the whole show at CountUpPod. If you missed the video, you want to watch it, you can obviously watch the stream archives on YouTube, on CountUpPod on YouTube. You can obviously also listen to the audio version of the show wherever you get podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it for you to subscribe there and leave a 5-star review on Apple Music. Scotty, tell the people some plugs, tell the people some news, tell the people your match of the week.
Sure.
I know everything doesn't really matter. Maybe we just have the show. I don't know.
Follow me at Scotty. You already said that. Check out my interview with Hyan on Fightful YouTube channel. That was fun. She was really good. Talk about the Texas scene, why Texas scene produces such great wrestlers and produces such great women's wrestlers. Talk about her match with Julia that's about to happen. Talk about her dreams of wanting to wrestle in New Japan. How it's pretty, her pretty much only goal left in wrestling, or not left in wrestling, but her main goal in wrestling is to win a New Japan title. So that's a lot of fun. We also talk about hardcore country since she was in that match, and I asked her,
I'm so glad you asked me that question.
I was like, does that stick with you? And she's like, yeah, in my nightmares. And I was like, that's fair. Because she was it was so funny because she was talking about how like she was trying to take in the moment, like she wrestled Mickey James, which is awesome, and in this big show for Rev Pro. And I was like, yeah, but like did hardcore country like kind of like affect you trying to take in that moment? And she's like, yeah, sure did. And I was like, it's still stuck in my head. I was like, I was singing that for days. Hardcore. And she was like, it was in a monotone voice, which made it 10 times more haunting. And I was like, yeah. So check out that. She was great. And
we heard it over the shitty audio of Rev streaming.
So
she's imagine
hearing
how
it in the ring.
Imagine how bad it was in the arena
when trying to wrestle. And they're just going hardcore country.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Match of the week.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I'm all discombobulated now.
You're fine. I don't blame you.
It's been a bad week. El Desperado and Master Wato versus Bushi and Teton from Junior Tag League.
You're watching the Junior Tags.
I've watched 2 matches.
I think that's more than most people.
Probably is. Oh, sorry, 3. I've watched 3.
Whoa,
that one was really good though. Like Desperado and Wato are awesome together.
I watched the ending clip of the Clark Connors Drill Maloney match
when they killed Kushida.
When they killed Despy. That was today, I believe.
Oh, okay, that was today.
Yeah,
that was So that'd be my match of the week. I thought there was another one, but whatever. The Taylor Ortiz was really good too.
That was very good. I enjoyed that as well. I'm going to do a little shout out for my match of the week. I've been following along at Jack Shares Graps. He tweets about sort of history of wrestling, some stuff every once in a while. He's been tweeting out a thread of basically like the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame nominees and various matches, or at least a match of the nominee in their career. So I've been sort of watching, at least saving a lot of stuff to my watch later on YouTube, but I've been watching every once in a while. So shout out to them for tweeting out this thread. It's a really nice thread. It has matches for every single candidate, even the ones that you've never heard of before. So you can just take a look at and see who they are and see how they are as wrestlers and see maybe why they're nominees in the first place. But he put up, and I watched the from November 4th, 1983 in Houston Wrestling, the Junkyard Dog versus Butch Reed in a dog collar match. Fun fact, this match was 20 days before the dog collar match at Starrcade 83 between Roddy Piper and Greg the Hammer Valentine, which is a very historic dog collar match as well. So that was a very good match. Junkyard Dog versus Butch Reed in a dog collar match. Junkyard Dog, obviously nominee for the Observer Hall of Fame. We'll see if he gets in.
When did that voting happen?
The new year. I believe it happens in the new year, something like that.
So we have time to go over everyone.
Yeah, we have time. We can go into it if we have time to do it on a topic rundown. I think about going to it. I think I might also do like a Patreon bonus episode talking about it. I got to link up with the people who I was thinking about having on to talk about it. Just doing like a special, like going over the nominations and stuff, and various thoughts about whoever we may have. So I might have that put together. That might not get put together until after my wedding. So late November, folks. So I apologize for that. But I do have another great birthday bash episode already recorded. I just have to put it all together and upload everything. So that will come to patreon.com/countoutpod some point next month. Again, the wedding stuff has consumed me.
Wonder why.
2 weeks away, baby. 2 weeks to the day. Terrifying. And excited.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll be back next week for an all-new episode. Until then, loved ones, love your loved ones. Keep them close. Tell them you love them. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.